Hey, so the reason I'm mad today is because we are no longer united as a people. And I'm not even going to focus on this current pandemic that is driving us apart. I'm going to focus on the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is, are there ideals that bind us together or not? And my argument is that the Bill of Rights are ideals that we should all be able to support. So let's go through them, and as we do, I want you to consider for yourself, number one, is this a right that I personally think is a right? Is there some dispute? Would I rather the government have this right? And number two, if I don't believe in this right, what does that mean for me as an American? So let's go through these, and I will make this very quick because I think you will see very quickly how far we have come from the ideals that are espoused here. And these are beyond ideals. These are rights. I mean, this is considered to be a statement of the relationship between man and his leaders. So here we go. Let's start, and we'll go through this very quickly. Here's number one. Bill of Rights, established basically 230 years ago. And you can see that it basically starts by denying Congress the ability to stop us from speaking. I like the idea that the right of the people peaceably to assemble. That does sound like a good plan. It certainly isn't allowed, especially in times of emergency. Here we come to number two, a huge one, the right to bear arms. Now, one of the sides says, well, it's appropriate only in the time when militias were appropriate. And I point you to the fact that there is the phrase necessary to the security of a free state, which leads me to believe that this is intended to allow the state to call upon residents of the state to defend the state. It doesn't say against whom, but that is why the residents of the state have the right to have weapons, as described there. Number three, not a big deal. We're not in a wartime, and even if we were, there's no force on the government making us accept soldiers into our homes. Now we come to the fourth amendment to the Bill of Rights, and this is a huge one, especially in its transgression, the right not to be searched. And I mean, let's just put it very simply. It's the right not to be searched unless there's probable cause. So I'm going to give you a very brief anecdote, and this is an example of the law of no good deed goes unpunished, and also the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I'm going to talk about MADD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, the Mad Mothers. Well, the Mad Mothers were very successful in stopping people from driving drunk, which was a very common occurrence back in the day, and a lot of innocent people got killed. So the good intention is we're not going to allow drunk driving. But the result of that is we've allowed police to stop us without any evidence of a crime and question us, demand papers and other evidence from us. Sometimes we even have to dance and bend over on the side of the road. And if we don't dance in an agile enough manner, we're deemed drunk, taken to jail. Okay, the Fourth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment, now we start getting into crimes, and I'm going to move through these quite quickly, but I will point out, if you look at the very last sentence where it says private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation, it has been ruled in the US that taking private property because it would generate more tax revenue for the city was judged to be in the public good and was allowed. The Kelso case, if you cared to look that up. Okay, now we come to number six. Have the assistance of counsel for his defense. And you can read these yourself. They're all available online in your library or anywhere else. And if you went to school in America, you certainly should know what they are. But basically, I would point out to you that you don't really have counsel. You have an overworked public defender. God forbid you need investigation to be done, witnesses, expert witnesses, you know what they cost. Good luck. So that's number six. Number seven, the right to a jury trial. Very briefly, I will just point out to you that well over 90% of criminal trials in the US end with a plea bargain by the defendant. And that is because the district attorney stacks charges to the moon. And if you risk demanding a jury trial, if you lose, you're looking at decades in jail. So that's why even innocent people take a plea. That's number seven. Number eight. Excessive bail, no fines, no cruel or unusual punishment. Now, this is actually something I want to point out, because if you're a male in the United States and you go to jail, you have a chance of being raped by other males in jail. Now, I consider that cruel and unusual punishment, and I would point out to you that it's definitely cruel, but if it's not unusual, that's even worse. Okay, now we come to number 9. I'm not going to focus on number 9. I will just jump to number 10. Number 10 points out that any rights not given to the federal government by the Constitution, nor given to the states, are held by the people. This is ridiculous. We used to have these common principles that held us together, and even more crazy, there are going to be some people commenting, whether here, Facebook, elsewhere, about how ridiculous this position is. That I am espousing the amendments to the Constitution, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. How can we have a disagreement about whether we should have these rights? We the people have fought for generations to get these rights. And when 220 years ago, when America was formed, it was considered the pinnacle of modern thought that the rights that had been won from the British King, for example, would be codified in our rights, that we the people would have these rights. I mean, my God, if we don't all believe in these rights, how are we even a group, the same group? Let's all pull together, take a look at what we believe in, and wake up.